What pseudo-experts are best at is making you stop thinking too early. Many people think the problem with pseudo-experts is that they make wrong judgments, but if you shift your attention slightly away from right or wrong, you'll notice something more hidden and more common. They often make you stop thinking too early. When something first happens, information is usually fragmented and incomplete. At this stage, the proper response should be observation, comparison, and waiting for more facts to emerge. But this is exactly when pseudo-experts like to appear. They speak with extreme certainty and tell you, this is already very clear. There's actually only one core issue. You don't need to look at other angles anymore. This kind of expression gives people a strong sense of relief. Uncertainty itself is stressful. And when someone steps in and compresses a complex issue into a single conclusion for you, you naturally lower your guard. But the problem lies here. Once thinking ends too early, judgment loses its ability to be corrected. If you look closely, you'll find that pseudo-experts rarely explain how their conclusions are formed. They prefer to deliver results directly without telling you. What assumptions does this conclusion rely on? Under what conditions would it change? If reality differs, how should the judgment be reassessed? As time moves forward and information fills in, issues reveal more layers. At that stage, what's truly needed is comparison, adjustment, and review. Yet this is often when pseudo-experts begin to speak less. Not because the problem is solved, but because continued discussion would force them to reopen a judgment they have already closed. You rarely see pseudo-experts return to the beginning and say, information was limited back then, now it needs adjustment. Instead, they cover old conclusions with new topics and new judgments. The judgment is never verified, it is simply buried by time. True professionals, on the other hand, are not in a hurry to push you to a conclusion. They're willing to preserve uncertainty because they know complex problems require repeated examination. Judgment is not a point, it is a line that changes over time. So when you meet someone who is always eager to tell you, you don't need to think about this anymore, who rushes to compress complex issues into simple answers, what you should be wary of is not just whether the answer is right or wrong, but whether your thinking has been prematurely terminated. Once judgment is closed too early, all subsequent information can only be used to prove an existing conclusion. And this is precisely the soil in which pseudo-experts survive long term.